Sunday. And to my Spanish speaking subscriber, who I communicate in Spanish with, bienvenido al domingo. And for those of you who do speak Spanish, forgive my accent. I hope you can understand me and everything. So anyway, today I wanted to talk about two things. One of the things I wanted to talk about this Sunday was or is expanded self versus higher self. Now, when I'm on the subreddit, I normally use expanded self when I'm talking about what many people refer to as their higher self. And sometimes I think to myself, I wonder if people are curious as to why I use expanded self instead of higher self. Now, there's a whole story behind this, because as many of you know, if you listen to this channel for any amount of time, you know that I have a very close relationship with my mother. And my mother has astral projected before. So she's familiar with the process. And my belief is that a part of the reason why I have access to being able to do what I do is because of Mom. So we've talked about this before, and I've used the words higher self with her when I have connected with that part of me. However, she has corrected me, and I completely agree with her. When we use terms like higher self, it makes it, at least in my opinion, and my mother's opinion as well, it makes it seem as if that part of ourselves is somehow better or higher than we are. And this is the thing. The more expanded parts of us, or the expanded part of us, is us. So why are we saying that that part is better or higher when it's actually us? Which I think it makes sense. The other thing is, when I've communicated with that part of myself, I have actually heard my voice, and that has been so interesting. It is so interesting, and I don't know how many of you out there have communicated with your expanded selves. I'm not sure of that, but and also for those of you who have communicated with that part of yourself, if you've also heard your own voice speaking to you. But what's interesting, and I think it was so funny, in the beginning, it creeped me out a little bit because I just thought it was weird. Like, I would hear this voice that was me, right? And this voice was independent of me, even though it was my voice and it was talking to me. And it was, at first, it was like, what? Wait a minute. I'm not saying this. Some other being is saying this, but that being is me, and that being is independent of me at the same time. So what does it mean, and what does this being actually do? Well, the only thing I can really share with you, again, is based on my own experience, my own feelings, my own instincts on what this being does. And I think a part of it is that they are able to, the expanded parts of us are able to see what I would say is the big picture. Okay? So we're here on Earth and we're living our lives, and we're dealing with different struggles. I have dealt with some very difficult struggles in my life. And of course, I would, in my mind at times, ask why do I have to go through certain things? Why do I have to deal with certain things? I think this really started popping up for me after my accident. It was, and I've made videos on this, so I'm not going to get deeply into it. But for those who don't know, in 2015, I had a horrific accident that almost cost me my life. And before that, I was astral projecting. I'd been astral projecting since I was 9 years old, so it was normal to me. But after that accident, that was when the beyond body stuff began for me. And so it was this terrible accident, and I would ask myself, why? Why am I dealing with this? Why did I have to go through this? What horrible things did I actually do? And that expanded part knows why we're going through certain things, why we're having to deal with certain things. And if I think about my own situation, before the accident, I was literally walking like 2 miles a day for 5 days and working out at the gym for hours and doing all these things. I can still, of course, work out at the gym, but I can't walk the way I used to walk before. It was, for me, a very frustrating thing, but I also have to say that I wouldn't be here doing this with you if it wasn't for what happened to me. As horrible and as horrific as that accident was, and the struggles that happened, and I continue to go through certain things after this. These things have made me the person that I am. And it's tough. For me, it's tough to swallow this, because I have spent plenty of nights in a very dark place because of what happened, if I'm being completely honest. So the sense or the feeling that the reasoning for this was because I was supposed to get to this point, and it allowed me to be able to help you. Well, it is, I don't know. Sometimes I just don't understand. There's so much that I don't understand. And that's another thing. It's another reason why when I'm on this channel and I'm talking to you, I tell you that regardless of the 40 plus years I have astral projecting and doing what I do with the beyond body and all the other experiences I've had, regardless of that, there is still so much I do not understand. But that expand itself has a perspective of the bigger picture. It understands what's going on, but, and I want you to really listen to this part, just because it has a different perspective doesn't mean that it's higher than you. You are such a powerful being, more powerful than you, I think, could ever realize. So I want you to remember that. I really, truly want you to remember that. That being is not better than you because it has a different perspective than you. And I believe that if you ask the being, that expanded part of you, that they would say it, they would probably say something similar. They'd say it the same way. That, you know what? They are you. So anyway, that's the whole thing. That's why I refer to it as expanded self instead of higher self. The other thing I wanted to talk about this Sunday, and I think that I'm going to try and include at least a piece of this every Sunday when I do this show, is something to try and help to inspire those of you who are struggling with astral projection, because again, I do understand your frustration. I know it's difficult it may be difficult to imagine that someone can understand that when they're able to leave their body and have the experiences I'm able to do, but I'm not able to get it every time by any stretch. I struggle with that as well at times. For those of you who have been on this channel, you know that it had been about a month or a little over a month since I'd had between my experiences. And for me, that was a very long time because, again, I've been doing this most of my life and it's been fairly consistent. So during that time, I was a bit frustrated. And so for those that have listened to the last episode, the episode before this one, you know that I had an experience on Sunday morning at around 4 a.m. or so. But before that, on Friday, what I didn't talk about is that I almost had something happen where I could feel myself starting to leave. And then literally I heard my snore, which was really weird. I heard myself snore and then my eyes popped open and I'm like, oh. And I was so frustrated because, again, it had been so long since I had actually had an experience. So it was quite frustrating for me to have that happen. And then, of course, there were days when it just wasn't happening at all. So I know it is frustrating. I know, I really do. I understand the frustration. I've been there with that. There have been times I've thought to myself, wow, I mean, I don't ever assume that this access that I have is going to go on forever. My assumption is that it could end at any point. That's what I think in my mind. That's why when I have these experiences, I try and make the most out of them. Nothing is guaranteed. Absolutely nothing is guaranteed. That's why you have to kind of live your life like it could be the last moment. You don't know when that is going to end. So with the experience that happened on Saturday morning, again, I will give you the elements of why I believe it worked. First of all, I had put it out of my mind. And again, I know this is really hard, especially if you want to experience astral projection. It's hard to put it out of your mind because it is an amazing thing. It really is. I've been on the astral plane and I tell you, it is absolutely amazing. But you have to have the ability to let go of that, I don't want to say desire, but I think that that's a big part of it. What you want to do is you want to form that intent in your mind. You really want to form that intent before you lie down to actually make an attempt. And then once you close your eyes, you need to just let it go and walk away from it. I will tell you that, for example, with what happened on Saturday morning, I had my iPad on and I had some sort of talk radio or something on, and it was loud, and I wasn't expecting to do anything necessarily. I was just relaxing, and that is something maybe you want to try. I've never been on this channel. I've never necessarily recommended that you put on talk radio or you put on something beyond binaural beats or some other relaxing thing. If that is your thing and it's helping you and you're able to get out of your body, then that's wonderful. But if you're struggling, maybe listening to something that isn't necessarily connected to astral projection may be something you want to try. You may want to form the intent before doing this, and then you sit down and you're listening to something that's completely not that. I don't know what it is you like to listen to, but you're just laying down and you're just relaxing, and your conscious mind is caught up in whatever it is that you're listening to that doesn't have anything to do with astral projection. And then once that conscious mind begins to relax, then the other part has the opportunity to take over, and perhaps you can achieve astral projection. Again, no guarantees, but perhaps you can try that. I don't know if it will work. And on this channel, what I want to promote to you, it's so important, lastly here, what I want to promote to you and what I want you to really do is I want you to be innovative. I want you to think out of the box. I want you to use your imagination. You don't need to follow people that are out there. You know, even the people that are writing the books and doing all those things on astral projection, you don't need to follow those folks. You know, create your own path. Use your own imagination to come up with something that's interesting. You would be so surprised on the things you would be able to do. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. And until next time, take care.